So we're gonna take a break from our other garden that we've been working on, and we're gonna focus on this part instead, this area behind the house, which is a garden bed that was created but has been overrun with weeds over the years. Even when we moved in, it was already like that. And we hadn't kept up on it much. We've done some cleanup back here, but not much. Already I pulled out some lilies, and we're gonna pull out these irises over here and try to transplant them. We also have these clumps over here that are daylilies, and we'll probably pull those out. Other than that, it's just a lot of weeds. There's a ton of oregano back here, oregano for days. And we're just gonna kind of do our best to get everything out of this area. We may even lay cardboard in this section, the bottom section, and try to do the no dig method there just to kill everything. It might be a little more challenging to do it up on the slope, but either way, we're gonna do our best to just eliminate all of this mess. And then we are going to turn this into our wildflower garden, and also a fairy garden, which I have bought quite a few pieces for, just to integrate into it for fun. We had a small wildflower garden last year, which I enjoyed so very much, and this year we bought a couple of really big bags to use in this area and thought it would be quite lovely. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a shot, see how it goes. Here's how much we got done in the first evening, just raking and cutting. This is by far the cleanest I've ever seen these beds, so it's pretty exciting to see this much progress in one setting. I mean, we did some cleanup last year, but nothing anywhere near like this. So all you see left now are the irises and the daylilies, and can't remember what the name of those plants are, the spiky ones, and of course some weeds still. We'll save that for another day. Well, here we are, another Saturday in the garden. As you can see, we've made great progress since the beginning, but still have to wait for all these plants to come up, and I'll get more into that later. But yesterday we started working on this, which is a new arbor for the entranceway to the garden, and we'll be installing this today, which I am just beyond excited about. I think it's just going to be a beautiful addition to the garden, and I've got special plans for that as well. So the holes were dug and the arbor was set inside them, but we ran into a little bit of a snag. Apparently there appears to be cement underneath the earth here. We're not really sure what the purpose it served was, but we didn't want to dig up the whole yard to find out, but it only went so deep. So as you may be able to see, the anchors are not going down that deep here, but this is where we wanted the walkway to come out onto the garden entrance. We wanted this to be the garden entrance. So we're gonna still try to make it work since it did go down about halfway. We're just gonna take some topsoil and we're gonna try to build up around this because we were going to be putting garden beds on both sides anyway, with the plans of planting heavenly blue morning glories and moonflowers so that they will climb the arbor, and then maybe put in some other flowers like petunias around it. And so we're hoping that that will stabilize it where it won't really go anywhere, and it will give it that stability that it needs to stand in this position, because I really couldn't imagine putting it anywhere else, and there was nowhere else to move it in this location without hitting that cement underneath the earth. So this is the plan, and hopefully it'll work out. So here we are, like I said, we're building up the foundation a bit of the arbor, but we're also putting in a couple of garden beds next to it for the morning glories and the moonflowers, but also additional flowers. And we're using the no dig method again. So we laid down some cardboard, we're gonna water it down and then put some soil on it and see how this works out. And we're just gonna put down some fertilizer, and then we're going to sow some seeds and cover it with mulch. I know it doesn't look like much, but I'm pretty excited about this. Bought some hostas last year that did not make it, or so I thought, but then a clump of them came up in the area where I had tried to replant them, but they didn't really do well over there, and I thought they were pretty much dead, but then saw this, and so divided them up and made a new bed and replanted them, and hoping that they will like this shady spot quite a bit more. and we'll see what happens. Just glad that I could save them. Still working on the wildflower bed. Had to dig up all these daylilies and replant them over here. Just kept them in the clumps the best I could. They're looking a little sad right now, but I'm hoping, since they are a pretty hardy plant, that they'll come back to life. Planted 10 of them in total. But like I said, they're looking a little sad, but I think after they adjust to their new location, they'll do just fine. Quick update with the arbor and the heavenly blue morning glories and moonflowers we planted. Look how much growth we have coming up after just a few short days. We planted them last Saturday, today is Friday, and already they are up to this level. I would think it's not going to be long before they will start climbing up the side of this arbor, which is the goal, of course. There's still a ton of work left to do in here, but I have to say we made incredible progress today. I mean, we pulled out tons of vines and trees, and up top there, still a lot of little trees and things that need to be dug out. In this section right here, we have some things, but we're gonna just concentrate right now on this bed because it's much more manageable. Might not even get to that part, really cleaning everything out, because there's stumps and different things in there until next year. But at the very least, we'll try to cut some of this down and still sow the wildflower seeds. But here we're probably gonna maybe salvage a little bit of this oregano, just because it smells really nice over here with it, and at least seed more wildflowers and then set up the fairy garden somewhere in here. So this is where we're at now. Turns out these were lily of the valley. I wasn't exactly sure because I couldn't remember, but when I did a Google Lens search, that did come up, and there's a whole bunch of them here. So I expect to see more of these bell-like flowers popping up. But yeah, as you can see, mixed in with these other weeds and stuff, these things have spread quite a bit, and even up top here. I'm not saying I need all of these, but I don't see any reason to do anything about it. For now, I think that they're going to be perfectly fine in this spot as part of this bed. It's just the least of my concerns right now, and I think that they're quite pretty. So, and here's where we transplanted a ton of our irises. We already had a row of them here, and as you can see, they're getting ready to bloom any day now. Oh, that robin. We've been having all these sweet little robins in our yard. Probably got a lot of bugs and worms here for them. But anyway, we moved a bunch of the irises over here. We also gave some to a neighbor because we had way more than we really needed, honestly. We just thought we'd incorporate them into this bed because they are quite pretty. So looking forward to these blooming in the next few days. Well, even in lieu of everything else we've got going on, we did add something new. We've actually had them sitting in the house for a couple of days, but couldn't do anything about it until today due to storms and things. But here we go. We planted a little garden, and it might not look like much because it's not very pretty, but it's really just going to be a little fruit patch. These holes, like these, are strawberries. Can't really see it very well, but this little twig here is a blueberry bush, and then that one's a raspberry, and the rest are strawberry. And we're gonna just see, this is more of an experiment, see how it goes. And would just like to get some fruit. Eventually we would like to put maybe a couple apple trees back here as well, so we're gonna be on the lookout for those in the next month or so. Minnie's looking at the future spot of the apple trees. Hi, baby. Hi, sweetie. So it's been a couple of weeks since we actually filmed the completion of our new garden here, but I wasn't quite ready to make the video of it because I was hoping to get some other things done first. Oh, you can see it's kind of windy. But just thought I'd give a quick update on how these are going after a couple of weeks. For one, our blue rose bush right there is starting to bring up some leaves, which means I hope that we'll get some blooms. As you can see, there is a lot of growth going on here. Oh, that's grass. This is going to be the zinnia bed, and along with some dahlias and can't remember exactly what all we put in here yet, but there's tons of growth coming up here, which is so exciting. And here we are. The bed is prepared and ready to lay that cardboard I talked about. Well, here's the bed. Just gonna add just a little bit more soil to it and then start putting the seeds down. So here's what we've got for the wildflower bed. We have this Midwest flower mix that we picked up, and we picked up this hummingbird butterfly mix. We're gonna probably put in a mix of both of these in this bed and around it and see what happens. Well, we did end up saving a few patches of this oregano to put back in the flower bed once it was covered, because, you know, it's very low ground cover and it smells really good, and I think it'll be still a nice addition to the wildflower bed and just kind of give it nice aroma and not really interfere too much with the flowers. So it looks like these patches of oregano will live to see another day. So now those are in the ground and it's time to seed. And here they are. They're all planted and compressed into the beds and ready to go. As far as this upper part, we'll worry about that another day. Probably will turn that into wildflower garden as well, but for now we just worked on this spot, and then over into here we just threw some more down. But this is the bed that we mostly put a lot of effort into. So that's it for this part. We're going to check back in with more updates as things grow. As it is, there was a bit of a time lapse between when we did the other garden beds and when we put the seeds in there and when we finally got to this point. So we already have some growth going on over there, but we will update more as we see some vegetation come up and see what happens this summer. It's going to be pretty exciting, I think. Till next time.